In this session, we will discuss about floating as well as submerged bodies in liquids. So, we will discuss about the phenomenon of buoyancy, the principle of flotation of solid bodies in liquids, and also we will discuss about the stability conditions of buoyant floating body as well as submerged bodies in liquids. We will define a new term called metacentric height as the stability condition for a floating body. Okay. So, buoyancy and flotation of bodies in liquids. So, in the previous sessions we have seen, we have calculated the total pressure as well as location of center of pressure of two-dimensional surfaces such as plane lamina in liquids such as water. So, here we are dealing with three-dimensional objects that are solid bodies. The solid bodies may be either floating in water or submerged in water. So, this figure shows a floating body in water and the second figure shows a submerged body in water or any other liquid. So, the first body is floating. Why it is floating? And the second body it is submerged. So, why the second body is in submerged condition? So, this is very evident. We can discuss or we can explain the flotation or submerged condition of any body with respect to the density of the particular body. If the density of the body is less than the density of the liquid, we know that the body will float. Okay, just like a leaf in water, we know that because the density is less than the density of water. And if density is more than the density of liquid, it will be in the submerged condition. For example, a steel ball in water or stone in water. So, this is the basis of flotation or the submerged condition of any three-dimensional body in any liquid. Okay, now if you look at this figure, that is, you have two forces acting. So, the first force, as you see, it is the buoyant force that is acting in the upward direction, and the second force is weight. Here also you have the weight represented as gravity, that is force of gravity that is acting downwards. Then you have the upthrust or thrust, that is the buoyant force F represented here. So, you have two forces. One is the weight of the body due to its gravity that is acting downwards, and the second force is the force of buoyancy or upthrust that is exerted by the liquid on the body. The body may be either floating or in the submerged condition. So, these are the two opposing forces acting as far as a body in water or a body in any liquid is concerned. And now the volume of the liquid displaced by the body is same as the volume of the body in water. So, that we know, because when a body is submerged or a body is floating in any liquid, it will displace certain volume of liquid or certain weight of that liquid, and the weight of the liquid displaced will be same as the weight of the body in water. Okay, the way that is Archimedes principle. We will discuss that also. Archimedes principle states that weight of the body in air. For example, if a stone is in submerged condition in water, and if the stone is having 10 kilonewton weight, okay, so the weight of the body in air, not in water, that is same as the weight of the liquid, that is in this case it is water displaced by the body. So, that is Archimedes principle. So, how to estimate weight of the water or weight of the liquid displaced? Weight will be equal to m into g, mass into density. So, mass will be density into volume. So, rho Vg will give you the weight of the liquid displaced. So, you should remember this also. The volume of the liquid displaced will be same as the volume of the body immersed in water or the volume of the body that is floating in water. Okay. So, with this knowledge background, we will proceed further. So, force of buoyancy, as already we have defined, it is the upthrust exerted by the fluid when a body is floating in water. Okay. and the weight is acting through the center of gravity of the body, that we know, because weight of any solid body or any body, that is acting through the centroid or center of gravity of the body towards the downward direction, and the buoyant force is acting up through a point that is known as center of buoyancy. So you should understand what is the center of buoyancy. CB it is designated. CB is the point on the body through which this buoyant force is acting upwards. Okay, so can we locate the center of buoyancy as well as center of gravity of a body that is floating? So here we are taking a floating body. So as far as this floating body is concerned, so what is the depth of immersion of the floating body in this liquid? So depth of immersion means the height up to which the body is immersed in water. So with respect to this figure, it is h1, where h is the total height of the body. Okay, total height or length of the body, and other dimensions are b and l. So l is other dimension, b is the dimension in the other axis, and h is the vertical dimension. So h is the height, and out of that h1 is the depth of immersion of the floating body in the liquid. And also here it is marked W, that is acting downwards, and FB, the force of buoyancy, that is acting upwards. So what I am trying to tell you is that W is acting through the center of gravity and FB is acting through the center of buoyancy. So can we locate center of gravity? Obviously that is the geometric center of the body. So what about center of buoyancy? You remember, center of buoyancy is the geometric center of the displaced fluid. Okay, so center of gravity will be always, center of buoyancy will be always the center of gravity of the fluid displaced when the body is in that fluid. So Archimedes principle once again for better understanding: weight of the body in air equal to weight of the liquid displaced by the body when it is floating or in submerged condition. So we will proceed. So with reference to Archimedes principle, we are going to find out a relation between h1 and h. Okay, I hope you can understand. So we are finding out a relation between the height of the body and the depth of immersion, that is h and h1, with reference to Archimedes principle. So what is Archimedes principle? WB in air, that is weight of the body in air, is equal to weight of the liquid displaced, that is W of the liquid displaced. So what is weight of the body in air? That is mg of the body in air, that is equal to mg of the liquid displaced. So m into g, that is density into volume. So g is constant. So g you can cancel off from both the sides. So you can write density of the body into volume of the body equal to density of the liquid into volume of the liquid displaced. So what is rho b by rho l from this equation? It is volume of the liquid displaced, VL displaced divided by VB. Okay, so what is rho b by rho L? This ratio, if the liquid is water, the density of the body divided by density of the water will be the specific gravity of the body, that is designated as SB. So specific gravity equal to volume of the liquid displaced divided by volume of the body. What is the volume of the liquid displaced? The depth of immersion is h1. So with reference to this figure, the volume is L into B into H. Okay, L into B into H. So the volume of the body is L into B into H, and volume of the liquid displaced is the volume of the body in that liquid. Here it is water. So what is that? L into B into H1. So you are getting H1 by H equal to SB. That means H1, that is depth of immersion of a solid body in water, equal to SB into H, that is specific gravity of the body into height of the body. Okay, so this is a very important equation you can use for doing numericals. H1 equal to SB into H. So you can say that depth of immersion is actually directly proportional to the specific gravity of that body. That means with respect to water, what is the density? That is specific gravity. And now we are going to find out the relative position of center of gravity and center of buoyancy. So far we have discussed what is buoyancy, what is flotation, what is a submerged body, what is a floating body. So center of gravity as well as center of buoyancy. Okay, and also we have seen the Archimedes principle and derived an equation for the depth of immersion in terms of the specific gravity of the body that is in floating or submerged condition, floating condition, that is with respect to floating bodies. Now we are going to find out the relative position of CG and CB, that is center of gravity and center of buoyancy. We are discussing about the equilibrium of submerged bodies in liquids. Okay, so we will discuss about the equilibrium of floating bodies later. So now we are discussing about the equilibrium of submerged bodies. So equilibrium means what? It is occupying a stable position in the submerged stage. Okay, so stable position in the submerged stage is generally referred to as equilibrium. So if a submerged body is in equilibrium, we say that it is stable equilibrium. If it is not in equilibrium, we say that it is unstable equilibrium. Okay, so let us discuss what is the condition for stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium and neutral equilibrium. Okay, so that condition is specified by the relative position of center of buoyancy as well as center of gravity. Relative position of center of buoyancy as well as center of gravity. We know that center of buoyancy, that is B, may be either below or above G. So you see this figure. In this figure, see B is above G. That is center of buoyancy is above center of gravity. Okay, and through B, FB is acting upward, and through G, W is acting downward. And if you are giving a disturbing couple in the clockwise direction, you see that from the upright position, it is a submerged body, we are providing a disturbing couple. That means we are trying to turn that body towards right side. So what happens? You see the new positions, G and B will be occupying the same position with respect to the body. But what about the directions as well as what about the line through which W and FB are acting? You see this is W acting downwards and this is FB. So it is not along the same line as in this case. So there is a distance between the direction through which W and FB are acting. That is the distance. So we have two forces, W and FB, acting in the opposite direction, and there is a distance between the line of action of these two forces. So these two forces forms a couple, that couple produces a moment. So what about the direction of this moment produced by this couple of forces? Because you take from this direction W to FB, you know that it is anti-clockwise. You know that? I hope you can understand. So you have a couple of forces, weight as well as buoyant force. That couple of forces is producing a moment because there is a distance between the line of action of this couple of forces. That direction of this moment is anti-clockwise. You see this marked in black color. So we are providing a disturbing couple that is clockwise, and due to this disturbing couple, a restoring couple is produced. Okay, so that is in the anti-clockwise direction. So what is the net effect? It will keep that body in the original position, that is stable condition, which is known as stable equilibrium. Okay, so the condition for stable equilibrium is G, center of gravity, below center of buoyancy. Okay, and now we will discuss the unstable equilibrium condition. The same body we are considering here. B is below G. Okay, that is center of buoyancy is below center of gravity. Again we are giving a disturbing couple in the clockwise direction. So you see the line of action of FB and G, FB here and W here. So these two couple of forces produces a moment. So what about the direction of this moment? You take from FB to W, so it will be in the clockwise direction. The moment is in the clockwise direction. So the applied couple is in the clockwise direction, and the couple produced by the moment produced by the couple of forces is also in the clockwise direction. So what happens? It will further disturb that equilibrium position of the body, that it will overturn. There is a chance of that body to overturn from its floating condition. That is, it is not stable, it is unstable equilibrium. Okay, and the third case is G and B coincides. G and B coincides, that is neutral equilibrium, that it will not be disturbed. Okay, so these three conditions you should study with respect to a submerged body. So obviously by common sense we know that we always prefer to have center of gravity at the bottommost position as far as stability of any body is concerned. You know the stability condition of any vehicle. So it is preferred to have G at the bottom level. That is same happening here. Stable condition G should be below B. If G is above B, that is unstable. This is with respect to submerged body. I hope the things are clear. And now we move on to the equilibrium condition of floating bodies. Okay. So with respect to floating bodies, it is not the center of gravity or center of buoyancy that determines the stability condition. Okay. So here the stability condition is determined or by a height, a vertical distance, which is known as metacentric height. Okay, that is with respect to a floating body. So before defining what is metacentric height, we will see what is meant by a metacenter. M, it is designated as M. So let us consider the definition of metacenter. Metacenter M is the point of intersection between the line drawn through the center of gravity and a perpendicular to the arc connecting the actual and new positions of the center of buoyancy of the floating body. Okay, we will explain this with respect to a figure. You see this is a floating body. What is shown here is a floating body. Here it is this is a floating body. Okay, so what about G and B here? G is above B. It is a floating body. G is above B, and the water surface is designated as AB. This is a line of water surface. If you are trying to tilt the body, it is floating in the clockwise direction. We are trying to tilt. We are applying a force. Okay, then what happens? This will be the second figure will be the new position of the body. Okay, so can we mark G and B when the body is in the new position? So along the central axis, G and B will be the same. Okay, then what about B1? So what is B1? B1 is the new position of the center of gravity. Sorry, the new position of the center of buoyancy. So we have already termed center of buoyancy. We have defined center of buoyancy as the center of gravity of the displaced portion. Okay, now when it is tilted, when the body is tilted, the displaced portion is changed. So this is the displaced portion of the liquid. In the original case, this was the displaced portion. Okay, when the body is tilted, you see what is the position? What is the new shape of the displaced liquid? This is the displaced portion. So there is a shift in B, or there is a shift in the position of center of buoyancy. That means center of buoyancy B is shifted to B1. So B1 is a new position of the center of gravity, center of buoyancy, and B is the original position of the center of buoyancy. So you can connect B and B1. Actually it is an arc that is written here, an arc connecting actual and new position. You see this, an arc connecting actual and new positions of the center of buoyancy. So B1 is an arc. It's not a straight line. It may not be always a straight line. And we are drawing a perpendicular to the arc B1. That perpendicular is represented as B1M. That perpendicular meets the central axis at M. Okay. That perpendicular B1M meets the central axis at this point M. And this point M is called the metacenter. So the things are clear now. Metacenter is the point of intersection of the line drawn through the center of gravity, that is this line drawn through the center of gravity, and the perpendicular to the arc connecting the new and actual positions of center of buoyancy. So that is the metacenter. So what is metacentric height? Metacentric height is the distance between, the vertical distance between M and G. Okay, mg or vertical distance between G and M, that is metacentric height. And now the metacentric height is representing the condition for stability of a floating body. So we have three cases. Okay, the cases may be M above G. Okay, if M is above G, metacenter of the body above G, then mg is positive. Okay, so how to measure mg? If you take an arbitrary position here, mg will be what? OM minus OG. Or if this is arbitrary position, you represent it as O, that is the bottommost position or a datum position. From that position you measure OM. Okay, OM minus OG will be mg, that is positive. Okay, if that mg is positive, then the floating body is stable, that is m should be above g, that is written over here. M should be above g. If m is below g, mg is negative, that is unstable. If m coincides with g, it is neutral equilibrium. So similar to submerged bodies, in floating bodies case also we are defining stable equilibrium condition, unstable equilibrium condition and neutral equilibrium condition with respect to the relative position of metacenter and the center of gravity. So metacentric height. So how to estimate the metacentric height? You see this, gm is a metacentric height with respect to the figure. So how to get gm? So with reference to the figure, gm equal to bm minus bg. Okay, gm equal to bm minus bg. So what is bm? We will see. So bm is defined as ig divided by v, that is moment of inertia of the body about its center of gravity divided by volume of the water displaced by the body. So you should understand, you should study this formula to find out bm. So what is bg? Bg, it is very simple. Bg is the distance between center of buoyancy and the center of gravity. Okay, center of gravity you can identify if a body is given, that is the geometric center of the body. So how to identify B? That is the center of buoyancy. It is the geometric center of the displaced fluid. So Bg you can estimate. So once you can estimate, once you can find out Bg, Bm minus Bg will give you the metacentric height Gm, and Gm may be positive, negative or 0. So that determines the stability condition or equilibrium condition of a floating body. I think it is clear. So what we have learned today is flotation as well as buoyancy of three-dimensional objects in water or any liquid, and we have defined center of buoyancy, we have defined the force of buoyancy, we have seen Archimedes principle and derived h1 equal to specific gravity into h, where h1 is the depth of immersion, and we have defined the stability condition of a submerged body with respect to the relative position of center of buoyancy and center of gravity, and also the equilibrium condition of floating bodies. We defined metacentric height and an equation for the estimation of metacentric height. Thank you.